And start recording on OBS. Thank you, Craig, for letting us know. Hello, welcome to Comic Crackdown, where we talk about all things comics and comics media. I'm Nick, or Telemations on any social platforms that you may have. And with me is my co-conspirator that will be always here, is...
Or on all social media platforms, and that's also my name. How are you doing today, Nick?
I'm doing alright. I slept in a whole 2 hours today.
Well, I slept in 3 today because Zach took the baby to school, which means I'm still better than you.
Isn't that just how things are always gonna be?
Duh. That's why you love me.
Yes. Okay, now if you take a look at our description for this video, what will they find down there, Danny?
We're gonna find an awesome batch of charities that we threw together that we really want to put some energy and put some light on to help further our community, further our world. But specifically for this episode, we want to put a light on LGBTQ plus charities
Doing
because
great.
right, doing great. Because Loki, as we all know, was confirmed to be gender fluid and is bi, queer, whatever you want to put a label on him. He's not straight, homie. So we want to put a really big spotlight on these 3 great LGBTQ plus organizations. First of all, the TREVOR Project. They have a suicide hotline for LGBTQ plus youth, and I believe they help sponsor the trans suicide hotline. So if you want to put some money towards them, they're great. Also, GLAAD, which helps with anti-LGBTQ plus discrimination. They fight it. They make sure that gets out of there. We want to protect our LGBTQ plus kids. And then the ACLU is just great for advocating and fighting for equality and justice for all people. So those are our big 3 charities this episode. But we have a bunch of other great ones having to do with the indigenous people, neurodivergent folks, Palestine, because we're free Palestine, BIPOC people, and a bunch of other great things, you know? We're out here fighting for people. We have a platform, we want to use it.
Exactly. Okay. So as Danny mentioned, we are talking about Loki. Now, before we get into episode 1 titled A Glorious Purpose, Danny, did you have any expectations going into Loki?
Oh my god, I didn't know what to expect, but I was really excited. As soon as y'all remember in Endgame, if you haven't watched Endgame, why are you watching this? Go watch that. Go figure out what's going on, first of all. But when Endgame happened and they brought Loki downstairs and they dropped the Tesseract and he grabbed it, I went, oh my god, he's not dead. And I knew they were going to do something with him, so when they brought in the series, I was like, okay, is it going to be him, like, conquering things? And from, like, the commercials and the previews, I really thought it was going to be him going and, like, messing with different historical events, and that just wasn't the case. And I like that they steered us in one direction and gave us a completely different story.
I was having Doctor Who patients as well before watching the first episode.
Yes, it was very much Doctor Who vibes. I was like, oh, they're going place. Loki is Doctor Who. Let's go.
God, I love that. I think he's too tall for the TARDIS, though, is the thing. Because Tom Hiddleston's 6'4"? I think?
Tenet.
I know, but like... Wait, David Tennant's 4?
David was a doctor. That's why I asked. Because you were like, he's too tall to fit in the TARDIS. I was like, how tall are the doctors? Matt Smith's tall, isn't he?
I think so, but he also just, like, looks stretched. Like, he looks like if you went in Photoshop and just, like, pulled up a human without holding the shift key.
Calling Matt Smith Gumby? Is he just Gumby?
Yeah, he's just British Gumby.
Nick, you can't call people British Gumby on the first episode.
I did. I'm sorry. I don't want to be canceled for that. Okay, so first episode starts with this lovely boy in Avengers Tower.
Oh my god.
I never liked the way his hair looked in the movie.
In
Like
Avengers?
the way it went down and like pointed like up still.
He can
It
look like a stereotypical supervillain. That was the whole point.
Yeah, I know, but I did learn
But,
something interesting about Avengers.
oh, lay it on me.
So you know how he uses his scepter to mind control people and, like Clint, Selvig, the like?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, according to Marvel themselves, Thanos gave Loki the scepter, with the scepter influencing and fueling his hatred over Thor and the people of Earth. Now,
Fucking joking.
is that Marvel excusing Loki mass murdering New Yorkers? Who knows? We don't know what their plans were, but you
Really
never
said
know.
Thanos was there the whole time. Mama, I bet you knew Thanos was coming, but you didn't think he did that yet. Mr. Feige.
Thanos was
Mr. Feige.
Thanos was in the Avengers end credit scene, but like they used practical effects, and then along the line they were like, "Nah, fuck that CG."
Well, with the glimpses we got of Thanos at that point, like,
Was the side of
okay,
his face?
yeah, like, I don't think they were fully like, okay, here we go. We're gonna have Thanos fucking. He's gonna give him the scepter, and the scepter's gonna influence him. No, they probably just thought, like, give Loki a scepter because he's a prince and he's the bad guy. Like, I don't think they were at that point yet. And I've noticed this, and I've noticed this with the Russo brothers too. Like, they say a lot of things in retrospect. I'm like, okay, well, where was this energy when you were filming it? Like,
Can we
I
just
know
call
you
that?
guys say that they have a plan, and like, this has been so thought out. Well, it sounds like you're giving us a lot of throwaway stuff after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just calling it like pulling a J.K. Rowling.
Yes. Also, since we mentioned J.K. Rowling, fuck transphobia. Am I right, kids?
Yes, trans rights are human rights.
Period.
Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is Mobius and Loki.
Moby is my baby. I've been waiting to talk on him for a motherfucking millisecond. Let's talk about it.
Okay, but just keep it to how they were in episode 1, because I have some thoughts for later in the series.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Some thoughts.
Mobius or Owen Wilson, Mr. Wow.
I think he's great. I just love Owen Wilson. I've mentioned earlier in the podcast when we were talking about, introducing ourselves, I have a son. So my son's really into Lightning McQueen. And
Yes.
when I found out Owen Wilson was going to be in it, I went, bitch, I'm going to hear him fucking ka-chow the whole time. And I thought the whole time all I would hear was Lightning McQueen. But the way that they, like, gave him that wig and they made him have a little mustache and they turned him into this, like, the word I would use is almost like a frumpy, like, office worker. It, like, almost completely changed him. Like, he was Owen Wilson, but he wasn't Owen Wilson. Like, he blended into the show so seamlessly. Like he came and did what he was supposed to do.
Oh, most definitely. He probably just walked into the audition, walked up to Kate Herron, who we have to thank for confirming Loki as bi, and was like, as William Shakespeare once said,
Heron.
hello.
Ugh.
But yeah, Owen Wilson, I don't know if it was the first episode where I kind of like had the theory in the back of my head. It's like, what if Mobius is just an old Loki that just got stuck in the TVA?
Yeah, that's also what I thought. Like, what if he's another thing I thought from the first episode, not knowing anything else, I was like, what if Mobius was behind everything? That was like my thought. It was like the most unassuming person. What if he was behind everything?
Dude, Owen Wilson as the Phase 4 villain? I want that.
Ma'am, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Sorry.
Owen Wilson as Galactus? I want that.
Oh man, but like, wouldn't have that been good? Like, because they set up Thanos with the last saga. I refer to them as sagas, the Infinity Saga, and I've so far called this the Multiverse Saga because it's obviously what it's going to revolve around. What
Yeah,
if,
multiverse.
with the multiverse saga, and we'll talk to this when we get to the last episode because I feel kind of the same way. What if it was an unassuming villain? What if you truly didn't know who the villain was until we got to that point? And that's something I want to talk about when we eventually talk about WandaVision too, because I think they did some really good work over there with
Yeah,
that
we have to
unassuming.
do.
We're gonna make it look like 3 different like ways this could happen, but then it wasn't. Like,
Oh yeah, we'll definitely talk about WandaVision, but I just wanted to talk about this image I have on screen here. It really looks like Owen Wilson's the dad, like dropping off his college student son like at his dorm, and it's like you can't stay at home anymore. You have to stay at school.
looks like
Yeah.
though. You know what he looks like though? He looks like when the principal pulls you out of class and you don't know why you're going to the principal's office, and the whole time they're just like, young man, don't talk to anybody in the halls. Follow me. Follow me. They tell you to take all your stuff when they come to the like. That's what it looks like. He's about to get a 2-day suspension. My man's is about to get suspended.
For like stealing this class pet snake.
Why did you let the snake go and put it in the vents?
Because I thought it would be funny, and it was.
Okay, can we talk about, since now that we have the image on the screen of Loki in the TVA, like before he even entered the TVA, can we talk about him landing like randomly in the Mongolian desert? I thought maybe he'd
Yeah.
have like an idea of where he was going. He was like, nope, just not here.
They don't really go into how teleportation works in the MCU because
How did
how this
it was just like, let's roll a dice, Mongolia it is.
like in Infinity War when Tony, Doctor Strange, and Peter are in the giant donut.
Yeah, let's speak on the donut. Speak on the donut.
Doctor Strange could have made a portal back to like the Sanctum.
So
Am I
true,
wrong?
bestie.
Because like Ancient Ones sent him to like Mount Everest or something, and it was like, hey, you have a set amount of time before you die of frostbite, so you might want to come back here as soon as possible. Which is shitty teaching, first of all. But what'd you think of the trial scene?
I loved it. Like the whole and Kate Herron touched on it a little bit in the Loki behind the scenes special. I always forget like the name of that. Assembled? It's Assembled?
Yes, that is correct.
In the Loki episode of Assembled, where they wanted to like strip what we knew Loki, both figuratively and literally, and make him like this like almost like a carbon copy of everybody else. They wanted to like like it's like when people go into the army or like the
I know what you're talking about. I don't think there's like a specific word because there are some
No,
things
I
where
know
there are.
there's a specific word. Both my dad and my stepdad were both in the service.
Mm.
There's a word for it, but they essentially take away your identity, and it's like you are now like everybody else. You are conforming to this idea of what we want you to be, not who you are, because you need to do the specific thing.
Mm.
It's like a depersonalization or a desensitization. I know there's a word for it, but like they stripped down his identity and made him just another like piece of the TVA.
Oh, most definitely.
And
Although
you get to see Loki in this vulnerable place of like, I'm usually the one on top outsmarting everybody, but now I am at the mercy of this thing that I didn't even know exists, and I don't know what's going on. I'm now on trial. Am I gonna die? What did I do? Like,
Yeah, and Judge Renslayer during this scene just being like, who's guilty? And Loki being like, the Avengers, the real bad guys. I'm a misunderstood hero, as everyone on Tumblr was saying for years and years.
understood hero, dare I say, to reference an MTV skit with Tom Hiddleston. Loki, I am the bad guy. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's hilarious.
If I can find the video, I'll link it below.
I will. I know I will find it, and I will link it. We will link. It will be in the description. Just go watch it. But
Yeah.
probably if you're a Marvel fan, you have an idea of what it is. If you're on TikTok for 5 minutes and you're on Tom Hiddleston TikTok, you've seen an edit with it. You've seen an edit.
Is Tom Hiddleston TikTok Tom Talk or Tick Tom? That's the question.
Hiddles talk.
Hiddles Talk?
Everything with Tom Hiddleston, it has to do with his last name. They always use the last name because there's too many Hollywood Toms. Okay, we're tangent. Reel it back. Reel it back.
Loki in the library. Oh wait,
Loki.
this is episode 2, which is called The Variant.
Well, let's kick it back to episode 1 because I'm not done.
Okay, episode 1.
Because I wrote down the projector scene. That's what I'm referring it to. It was kind of a projector, and that was episode 1, right?
Yes, that was episode 1. I thought I had an image of it.
Back. Oh my god! If we don't, you know what I mean. You get Mobius drilling into him, like, why are you the way you are? Why do you hate people? What is it that makes you tick? Because Loki doesn't know that he's about to have to go help them hunt other versions of himself. So they're trying to, like, understand how the gears work. And then he's, like, finally, like, after Loki tries to escape a bunch of times because he's Loki, that rapscallion's going to try to leave. But that whole breakdown of him watching, like, the greatest hits of his life and finding out he had a life more than just being the bad guy and being the conqueror. And we got to watch him realize that he's accidentally the reason his mom's dead. That he has a relationship with his brother. That he becomes somebody who is now referring to himself as an Odinson for the first time in his life after finding out the betrayal of, like, Odin stealing him from Laufey. Like, you find out that he gave his life for his brother in order to kill Thanos, the very person he had sworn his allegiance to.
Yeah, like, that whole projector scene.
Kate Herron, I'm singing her praises. She knew what needed to be done. And she understands Loki in such a way that I feel like we haven't seen him before.
Oh, most definitely. Although that projector scene, like
Nick and I, as a tradition, whenever there is a Marvel, an MCU show on Disney Plus, we will stay up until 12 a.m. Right when it comes out, we'll watch it together over FaceTime. And
yes,
the homeboy sees me cry at least twice a week. It was me, like, sobbing because you're watching Loki realize he's capable of loving other people, and most importantly, loving himself. He's capable of it, but he hasn't reached it yet in the series. And I think it's so powerful that he finds out there is more to him than being bad. Ugh.
Yes. I just love how, like,
is so powerful.
I think they mentioned it in Assembled, or maybe one of the many interviews she did after where she tried saving what happened in the finale, but I think she mentioned that they didn't have what scenes were going to be playing on the projector planned.
Yeah, so that's just Tom guessing.
That's just Tom, being Shakespeare.
He is Hamlet in this fucking bitch.
He really is.
God, I guess you could say he took his acting abilities at that point and put him in a getaway car. Like,
Danny.
I'm sorry. Just so you know, for the future, I am a Swiftie, and whenever I can make that joke around Nick, I will. Oh my god. Nothing good starts in a getaway car. That's all I'm saying.
Now that's the next episode, episode 2, The Variant. Loki is in a library.
Loki's
very
in a library.
Interesting.
Loki in the library with the candlestick?
Now Loki is doing what a lot of MCU stands on Twitter need to do. It is called their research.
Go into the source material. To quote Tiffany New York Pollard, take a look at the material. You can be the judge of it.
Exactly. But Loki just, like, the scene of him reading about Ragnarok.
Oh my god, him reading about Ragnarok and being like, what? Who? Your savior is where? Here? Oh my god.
I want to know, did he read all the stuff like that happened leading up to Ragnarok, or is the file just
Say, did he
specifically
find
what
out about
happened to
him being
Asgard?
the Grandmaster's little sugar baby? I'm
Did he
glad you
find a
brought it up.
Did he find out that him and a guy made out of rocks
My
have
name's
to
Cole.
go through the devil's anus?
The devil's anus.
Did he know that he's like, I'm gonna have to drive through a devil's anus again?
Again.
Because the portal in Avengers kind of just looks like the sky just opening its ass, and then it shits aliens.
I mean, you said it. I didn't have to because you did. One second. I am in my bedroom and I am looking out the patio window to watch my son play outside so I can have the quiet. He's not causing trouble. We're good. I just couldn't see him for a second. Oh, there
man.
she is! There she is! Trigger warning! I just looked back at the screen. He just misminutes me. He did it!
You know what
Damn
happens
it!
in the finale?
Strong! No. We're gonna save the Miss Minutes talk for the end because I have a whole soliloquy about her.
Okay.
I want to talk about the fact that so fast Loki was like, "Yeah, I'll join your ranks." I knew as soon as he decided to play nice that he was going to try to overthrow it.
And then
I
he
knew
gets a
it.
desk. Or
He got a desk. No, he wasn't even at his desk. He was at Mobius's desk looking at his jet ski magazine, which, when we get to the last episode, I have some things to talk about. Have some things.
I want to know, can Miss Minutes feel pain? Because she jumps away when Loki tries hitting her, but like...
What's the deal with this bitch? First I was like, oh, it's an automated little, like, AI. But now she's, like, dodging being hit by Loki. And once again, when we get to the end, I will talk more about this. And I have to stop myself there because I will go on a tangent.
I think she might be like an astral form of something that we see in the last episode. That's all I'll say. Okay. I stopped myself.
That's why I said stop, because I feel like you can't have a full Miss Minutes conversation
without getting into the end.
There she is. There she is. Let's talk about her. When I saw Sophia DiMartino take that hood off and we saw her, I said, that's my baby and I'm proud. God. Let's talk about the fact that she has the comic book accurate Lady Loki helmet. Like, I love that they didn't just give her two horns, like two little baby horns to be cute. They made sure she had that one missing. Make sure, like, it was known. This is Lady Loki. You remember that photo of her from the comics? She's blonde now, but that'll make sense. Because in Assembled, they were like, actually, the reason she's blonde is because we also wanted to, like, make her kind of enchantress. Like, we wanted to, like, blend some things.
Kind of.
So,
they probably took inspiration from Tom Hiddleston saying he wanted Loki to have for the TV show to introduce Amora, who is I think classified as the real enchantress.
Yeah, thank you for. I was trying to figure out the other female character that was like, because Nick and I both thought when she first came on the screen, oh, she's not actually Lady Loki, she's Enchantress, because immediately you saw blonde hair. Later on, we find out that's not the case, and we'll get into that later, but immediately, like, I knew there was something fishy about her, but it ended up not being anything actually fishy. It was just the people at Marvel decided to make a decision to just smush some characters together, and that's why it was like that.
Yeah, okay. I kind of wanted... I saw her horn, and I kind of wanted it... So remember in Avengers when Loki's horn like is huge and like has like a half loop? I kind of wanted her horn to have like a little bit of a loop instead of just, pointing straight up. But that's just me wanting like a bit of a weird reference.
Well, she was on the run, so in my head, this is just me being a stan, I guess. I just figured she gathered whatever money and like gold she could to forge it. So she obviously couldn't get as big of an amount as she did, like Loki could, because he was a prince his whole life. Like,
She got that off Etsy, is my theory.
Yeah, she made an Etsy order. She was like, I can pay you and like, you need a hit, I can do a hit. I don't have money, but I could kill somebody for you making my helmet. And then she took it to Coachella.
What if, now here's just me spitballing, what if, since we find out how she's so good, what if she went into the Ragnarok time period, saw Odin as a homeless man, and just like busted out laughing on the side of the street?
It was really her like, yes, finally some delicious fucking food.
Exactly. Okay. The next episode, titled
Wait, go back.
Lamentus.
Go back. Because in this episode, they go to investigate, because they have some sort of idea, because Loki brings it up, that she's hiding, because by this episode, I believe we know that she is hiding in like end time scenarios because the world is already ending, it can't cause a Nexus event.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't fully get her right off the bat when Loki's trying to corner her, and it's her channeling herself through other people, I thought that was so cool. I was like, what? And then it was like, wait, that's another hoe. That's another. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. She's a runner. She's a track star. Oh. Like, loved that. And then finally, right at the end of the episode, Blondie's here. We love it.
Oh, I just love that she has like short hair. Cause like,
yes, I don't want no long hair trying to like, women. You know how it is when you see I call it the Megan Fox isms. Obviously, Megan Fox probably would have fought for this to not happen, but unfortunately, Michael Bay made decisions where she was running around in heels and had her hair down, boobs out. You know, like with a lot of like action stars that are women, you see them like running around in like things that are just not practical, like Bryce Dallas Howard in stilettos in Jurassic World, Lara Croft before they let her like cover her tits up, like
I
short
actually
hair's
think Bryce Dallas
practical. She
Howard.
didn't. What?
I was just gonna say Bryce Dallas Howard actually wanted to run in heels, so she actually did film all those scenes in those heels.
Great for Bryce Dallas Howard. It doesn't change the fact that she was still running around in heels, and that's a problem we see in Hollywood. Like
Oh
men,
yeah.
tactile, like you get actual gear. Like I'm about to run around, and then it's Miss Ma'am with the hentai boobies, and like supermodel Victoria's Secret angel hair. Like, yes, I have a full face of makeup, even though I just ran through an explosion. Like, that's not realistic. Mama, she'd be the first to die. The hair would be in her face, stuck to her lip gloss. She would be covered in like bruises and burns because her skin's not covered. Her shoes would have broken because if you're putting that much pressure onto a heel, it will snap. Like,
Yee. Just me
speak on
sitting
it.
in the corner, you going off on heels and running, and I'm like,
That's not
yes, I agree.
realistic. Though I would like to call out that small part of TikTok where it's people putting on different heels and testing out how fast they could run in them. Could not be me, but I love it for you.
Okay, you ready to get on to the next episode?
Yeah, I had to talk about it.
Oh no. Okay, so before this next episode, I was getting mental. I'll just refer to it as mental IMs from Kevin Feige because like 5 minutes before the episode went on, like 11:55. Because yes, we stay up for
Wait a
Loki.
minute, I have some ideas.
Yeah, Kevin Feige sending me mental IMs, and I'm like,
And let
sir,
me
do I have
tell
to get
you, Nick is so in tune with like the MCU at this point that 99% of what he thinks is going to happen comes true.
I'm just waiting for like either the TVA to come get me or Kevin Feige to come join.
Last time,
Okay. Sorry about that. Previously on Comic Crackdown, where our recorder decided to shit its pants, probably because it's a Silky supporter.
where it stopped.
Danny? It's the. I mean, Yeah, it missed a lot, so we'll have this a little bit more sorted, hopefully for episode 2, which will either be Falcon and the Winter Soldier
It's
or
going to be
WandaVision.
WandaVision because I have so many things to talk about it. I've decided.
So many thoughts. My head's
I'm
empty,
just going
though.
to talk about. I'm going to quickly wrap. I love Jonathan Majors. I think we're going to be watching another rise to A-list notoriety of Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth. I think he's great as He Who Remains, and him being timid in his introduction and then immediately being killed by Sylvie and then becoming like, we don't even see him as Kang yet, but becoming like this evil person we haven't seen yet. Oh my god, love that.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvie kissing Loki. Gross. Loki kissing Sylvie and then being booted to the TVA.
Yeah.
Running through the TVA trying to figure out what's going on. Turns out nobody knows who they are, and then the 3 Timekeepers statues are replaced by Kang the Conqueror. Wow. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. First sneeze.
You sneeze,
First
girl.
sneeze of the podcast.
Girl boss.
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
Girl boss cake. Don't forget the sneeze.
That's on my Animal Crossings passport for when people find me on the thing. Speaking of Animal Crossings, my son poured an entire soda on my Switch, and now it's dead. So
you
I
couldn't
put it
save
in a
it?
bag of rice for a week. It's dead. Depressed.
Let's take a minute. Thoughts and prayers for the Switch. Not the person that owned the Switch, the actual Switch itself. Okay, but yeah, that really sucks.
It sucks. So does the audio crashing. Hopefully, if we figure out what part it crashed at when we listen back to when it shit the bed around 3, we can fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll put it at the end of the episode.
Okay.
But essentially I like the twist at the end where like we thought we had all the answers and now we have no answers. It's aggravating, and then we find out there's a season 2. Love that.
I really loved Loki just dumping so much exposition on a different timeline's Mobius, and Mobius is like, you're an analyst. And I was like, Mobius, that's what you took from all that? Just Loki being like, we killed Kang, me and Sylvie ruined the timeline, there's gonna be more evil Kang. Mobius, so you're telling me you're an analyst.
What's your name? As soon as Mobius was like, okay, well, what's your name? What? What's your name? No. Not this. No.
Not my play. Yeah, that really... that hurt me in the feels.
I mean, I think next season's gonna be good. I have no idea what direction they're gonna take it because they didn't tell us anything. I can't wait to see Jonathan Majors again. Special mention, Man Bun Loki.
Oh yeah. My Avengers group chat wanted me to also talk about how Tom Hiddleston gave it his all and Loki Deserves the World. Yeah. That was from Darth X Eric on Instagram and TikTok.
You're absolutely right, and you should say it.
My friend Maria Draws Things also said Tom and Owen best acting duo.
Love that for them.
I kind of wanted to talk about like Tom and where I think season 2 can go, because everyone has said that a woman should direct season 2, with the exception being Kenneth Branagh.
Yes, Kevin Branagh.
However you pronounce his last name. So we know from Avengers Assembled that him and Tom Hiddleston did Shakespeare plays together,
he directed War Horse.
Yes, and Thor 1. What if if he does become the showrunner for season 2, what if they take it at a Macbeth angle? So when Loki is trying to get back to his timeline or his TVA, whenever he's about to like make a connection with like another Mobius, he is reminded of the connection he thought he had with Sylvie.
Okay, and then Sylvie would be very much like Lady Macbeth, where she's trying to make sure that everything stays on top, and she's failing because she's going insane. Wow, Nick. Okay, your mind. Wow.
And with Loki's mind at a weakened state, because god dang, did Sylvie blue ball him at the end.
God. Another betrayal, another stab in the back.
Another Sylvie enchants him, but since his mind is still kind of strong, all he can see in his memory is his memory of him watching his mom die.
Oh my god.
So you know how in Macbeth he sees what was it, his cousin that he had killed, his brother?
Macduke? Macduff.
Yeah, Macduff.
Oh, we're having a cat cameo.
Like
if you hear any meowing, that is my cat, LB.
So Loki either sees Sylvie as a reminder of, him putting his trust in very much the wrong person, or he just sees, his mom dying from Christopher Eccleston.
Love that. Wow. I think that's really good. I'm also excited to see what Renslayer is going to have to do with all of it. Because in the comics, she ends up being like Kane's like mistress or her wife. I don't know enough about it to say definitively, so not an expert. But like the connection they're going to make there.
Ooh. I had one final theory before we end off on our gonna be normal ending. So Renslayer went on to find free will, and a lot of people think she's gonna look for who started the TVA, which is Kang. But with how hard she believes in the TVA and what they're doing, I think she's gonna find one of the bad kings who is gonna use her trauma with the cult that is
make
the
her the high priestess of the cult. Oh my god! Oh my god! Because she believes in it so much, and she's gonna push this is the way that it has to be. Nick, love that.
Thank you. But yeah, I'm just like, season 2, more religious trauma. Come on, I can take it. I'm a big boy. Give me religious trauma.
I'm excited to see what happens, and quite frankly, I'm excited next week to go on a whole fucking tangent about how my number one, like, at the top of my list, I want to see Agatha Harkness at some point in the MCU that I've been saying for years finally happen next week. So excited to talk about it. Oh.
Okay, so Danny.
Nick.
So at the beginning of this, which I'm very hopeful was recorded, you listed a few of the LGBT relating to Loki charities, because as we talked about, Loki is confirmed gender fluid and bisexual, but is that going to be the only charity that is listed in the description?
No, it will not. Let me pull up a bunch of the other awesome charities we're talking about. First of all, just off the top of my head, we want to talk about the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. We know a lot of neurodivergent people close to us. My son's autistic, and through learning about autism and everything about it, I've come to the conclusion that the best way to advocate for autistic people is to help fund other autistic people who know what they need. So please donate to ASAN. So great. We are #Free Palestine in this podcast. So please donate to the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. They're helping get medical care to kids who are being displaced. The NAACP does so much for the BIPOC communities, from bail funds to legal aid, helping fight racism, just racial injustice. #Black Lives Matter. Climate change is real. A great way to help take a step in the right direction is to put your money where your mouth is and donate to things like the Clean Air Task Force by the Rainforest Coalition. They're doing a lot of really good work, and they're also fighting to let indigenous rainforest tribes stay where they are from and not displace them from deforestation. You may know this tribe because of Twilight, but the Quileute Tribe is currently being threatened by flooding and need to relocate their tribal center in order to continue to have a school for the kids on the reservation and to preserve their cultural center. So please donate to the Move to Higher Ground charity. And finally, this one is my personal favorite because I was a Girl Scout for a really long time. But if you are an advocate for women and non-binary folks, anybody at this point can now join the Girl Scouts. The GSUSA helps educate and grow the lives of young girls and other folks by teaching them leadership skills, entrepreneurship skills. They are pushing for education of STEM for young girls and other people, and outdoor education. Help them develop bold and bright futures. I love the Girl Scouts. I was a Girl Scout for 11 years. I would not be the person I am today without them. So please, consider putting your money where your mouth is and donating to any of these wonderful charities.
Okay, I just muted myself to make sure no sound on my end interrupted what you were saying. But yeah, you can find those below, as well as our socials, which will be below the charities, because charity and
Yes.
help first. And you can always find us here talking about comic book shit for all time.
I'm
Always.
This has been a fun first episode, Nick, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yes, I really want to know where Craig stopped, because I don't know why he stopped. Craig, I'm looking at you.
Craig, we're looking at you. If you have any ideas of what you want topics you want us to talk about next, leave them below. If you have any other great charities you would like us to feature in future episodes, let us know, and we will put them in the list. I'll hand it back over to you, Nick. What do you guys say?
I gotta say that finding where Craig crapped out will be a fun journey for me. I really hope that whatever happened, I can troubleshoot so it doesn't happen again. Or I should probably just pay a little bit more attention to the Discord to make sure we don't tangent when he's not recording. Because if it didn't capture that, just know it was a long tangent. There was a lot that was said.
So much. It was me being a Jonathan Majors fan account for half of it, and then for half of it talking about how whenever the MCU shoots in San Francisco, there's a lot of discrepancy.
Well, I really hope that part stayed.
Me too, but if we have to, I know I can conjure that up again. Well, I think we should cut it here. Yeah. So.
I think so. Okay, time to kick Craig out.
Bye, Craig. For all time.